Now it's time for another Board Game Brawl preview with Nick Meanahan, sponsored by BoardGameBliss.com. Hey people, today we're going to be taking a look at a game that is currently seeking funding on Kickstarter. That game is called Tao Long and is from Thundergriff Games. Now, if you like what you see throughout the rest of this preview video, I'm going to encourage you to go to the official Kickstarter project page. There will be a link up in the top corner of your screen, as well as down in the description section underneath this video. Those links will take you to the page. You can find out more information than I could possibly tell you here, and hopefully you'll consider backing the project. Now, Tao Long is an abstract game with a very Asian philosophical feel to it. In fact, it's based in Taoism. You are trying to basically manipulate, manipulate the forces of yin and yang, and in sort of an abstract way, but you're manipulating these dragon tiles out on the board. It's a two-player game, so you're going head-to-head against your opponent and trying to defeat the segments of your opponent's dragon, again, representing these philosophical forces. And how you're going to do this is by manipulating these tokens on different spaces and getting different actions for each of the spaces. It's actually simpler than how I'm probably describing it here. So let me go ahead and show you how the game plays with a preview copy of the game. Therefore, what you see in this version may not be exactly how it's going to be in the final version, but this will give you a good idea of what to expect in the final version. Then we're going to come back and we'll discuss it further. Tao Long is a competitive game for two players. Each player takes control of a dragon and manipulates their actions by using a board representing the yin and the yang of the Tao. The goal is to eliminate the segments of the opposing dragon. Every time a dragon's 4 life stones are depleted, they lose a segment and then replenish their life points, and then you keep going until all the segments are defeated. The board of the game is split into 2 sections. The board of the human represents the world disputed by the dragons. Several different tiles are used here, primarily the dragons, always arranged so that the segments connect and so that the head is at the front. Rock tiles represent obstacles that the dragons cannot overcome. Portals come in sets of 2 by color and enable you to transport your dragon from one portal to its twin. Before you begin the game, you'll choose a scenario set up from the rulebook indicating where the dragons start and what portals and rocks you'll be using. The other part of the game board is the bagua. This is the spiritual side where you will be manipulating stones to affect the movement of the dragons. 2 white stones are placed on the sky, 2 black stones on earth, and 1 white and 1 black on both fire and water. 4 water stones are placed on the dragon's life meters, and all the fire stones, which represent attack points, are placed in the center. In advanced games, a flux coin is used to indicate the direction you'll be manipulating the bagua at times. Decide in some way who will control each dragon, with the sky dragon, the white one, going first. First is the spirit phase. Choose a spot on the bagua that has at least 1 stone on it, then go in one direction and drop each stone on the following spaces. By default, you'll go counterclockwise with this, but in an advanced game this will vary based on the number of stones of a certain color in the space you're choosing, with white going clockwise and black going counterclockwise. The flux coin begins on the white, but changes every time someone chooses to go in the opposite direction. The flux coin will determine the direction with multiple stones of different colors tie for one spot. You can choose which color stone goes on which space, if there's a choice at all, but this will only matter in advanced games, where having all 4 stones of a single color in one space will let you focus and perform the specific space's action. Alternatively, if each stone of a single color is on all 4 of the main elements, the player must change their fire and water stones to match an opponent's. In any event, the last space to get a stone determines what action occurs in the next phase, which is called the matter phase. Each action involves moving your dragon in a particular way. The sky and earth actions will move your dragon in a vertical or horizontal line. To do this, you must move the head as indicated by the action, then take and flip the remaining segments to line up and connect with the new position of the head. The wind and the thunder spaces represent a mandatory curve the dragon takes, and will allow you to have another spirit and matter phase afterwards. The lake and mountain spaces are one simple space move based on the vertical and the horizontal. If at the end of any of these movements the active dragon's head is directly facing any part of the other dragon, it bites the other dragon and returns one of its life points to the center of the bagua. The fire and water spaces also allow a movement of 1 on either axis, but then the player has a choice to make, of either absorbing or expelling a chosen element. Absorbing means you can take either a blue or red stone and add it to your tracks on the board. Expelling means to actually make a ranged attack, using the damage ruler and emanating from your dragon's head. The enemy dragon takes damage equal to the biggest printed value on the ruler that hits it, plus bonuses depending on blue or red, water, and fire. Once you get done adding that together, subtract the number from your opponent's life points. As mentioned before, depending on the setup, there may be portals used across the battlefield, and when a dragon enters one, part of their body remains on each side of it until they fully clear, and they are therefore vulnerable. Continue playing until all 3 segments of the enemy dragon are defeated and removed. Flip the opposing dragon head when this happens to indicate their defeat. That is Tao Long. Well, right off the bat, the fact that Tao Long is an abstract game should make it stand out, because while there are, of course, many abstract games throughout the history of board games, there haven't been that many lately, and definitely not a lot that have set themselves apart from so many of the other abstract games out there. And I do feel that when you compare Tao Long to any number of other games in general, but especially abstract games, it feels different and unique. The fact that you're not just like, okay, here's a set of pieces, here's this one thing that you're doing, manipulate those. No, in this game you have this sort of, it's this binary thing where you're manipulating one part of the board, the spiritual side of the board within the theme of the game, but you're doing that in order to manipulate the dragons out on the other side of the board, along with obstacles potentially, the rocks and the different portals. Portals not being obstacles, but just another means to get across the board and adding a little wrinkle into the mix. And that's another thing too. The fact that there's a variable setup is something that you don't see in a lot of games of this ilk. On top of the fact that there's so many different types of actions on the bagua part of the board, and manipulating the resources of not just, well, there's your life points, of course, which is in a sense a resource because you can also gain those back, but also the attack points, the fire points. Again, you can only get those by manipulating the spaces and getting those tokens there in sort of a Mancala type mechanism where you take all the stones from one space and then lay them out. And then when you start getting into the advanced rules of how you can actually manipulate the bagua in order to have a stack of tokens of all one color and therefore get an extra activation, or to have them out in each of the different spots and gets another special ability on top of the flux token if you choose to go with the very advanced rules. And that's another interesting thing about the game, because if you read the rule book, it eases you into it. You play a normal introductory game, which is very basic. Then you choose one of the more advanced scenarios. Then you start using the portals. Then you start using the different special actions that are activated out into the bagua. And then you eventually get up to using the flux coin, where even the direction that you go in will vary. And that's another thing that you have to plan for. So in this game, you have lots of decisions, and as you go through the different levels of the game, more decisions are unlocked while still compounding on the previous ones that you need to make. So basically, you can play this at any level that you want, depending on your audience. So if you have an introductory game, or maybe you just want to go with the introductory level, but you want to eventually ease them into more sophisticated decision making. So in that regard, there's a lot of different uses for Tao Long. If you're experienced with abstract games, but you want something different, if you want to teach the game to a younger player, a more casual gamer of any age, or just anyone who's interested in, because of the theme of the game and because of the appearance of the game, it's definitely going to appeal to people who are interested in Asian philosophy and just Asian themed things in general. So there's a lot of different people who might be potentially attracted to Tao Long. And if you're one of those people, or you know someone who is, you should check out the official Kickstarter project page, because you can find out more information there than I could possibly tell you here in just this short video. Follow the link in the top corner of your screen, or the one down in the description section underneath this video. Those will take you to the page, and hopefully you'll consider backing Tao Long from Thunder Griffin Games. Now, thank you so much for watching and for supporting our sponsors. Take care. Thanks for watching. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon. And make sure to check out our sponsor, Board Game Bliss, where you can find an amazing selection of games from around the world. BoardGameBliss.com. Thanks for your support.